Hello and welcome to the Non-Perfect Parents Club podcast. Hello and welcome back to the Non-Perfect Parents Club podcast. This is the first episode in our new series, The Seasons of Parenting. So I was doing a little Google search to see if I could get a definition for you all on the seasons of parenting, and I found quite a few. Most of them were split into 4 seasons, which makes sense, right? For obvious reasons. And then I saw another page that said about motherhood being a season of life. I quite like that. And that broke the seasons of parenting down even further so there was more than 4. It was just, rather than having 4 set seasons, it broke it down further. So I don't think that there really is a set definition to it. It's more about how you feel about it. I feel like I'm in my 2nd season of parenting, and this is something that I really began to notice last year. I've talked quite a bit about this on social media, and it was just a real change that I've felt. My girls are getting a little bit older now. The Wildcat is 13 and Bunny is nearly 8. So over the last year, they've been not obviously independent, but a lot more independent, and they've not needed like constant supervision. They can do a lot more for themselves. We can do more things as a family together, and it just felt really different. Some of you will have heard me talk about the piece of research that Anna Whitehouse, Mother Pucker, and Zoe Blaskey have talked about this, which is where I heard about it, and it's how it can take up to 10 years for you to I don't know if recover's the right word, I don't know if that's the word they'd use, but it can take up to 10 years for you to kind of find your feet again after having a child. So for me that really resonated, because I'm kind of finding that now. And when we had the Wildcat was 5 when we had Bunny, basically. So we were quite still in the early days of parenting, and then Bunny came along and we kind of restarted it all. Whereas now Bunny's nearly 8, we're heading out of that. We're heading near to the 10 year thing now. And I'm not saying it takes 10 years, it can take up to 10 years, but I've found a real difference last year with that. And it's just little things that we can do now that we've never really done before, because Bunny was always too young, or the Wildcat was initially too young, and it just felt really different. So I feel like I'm potentially in my like 2nd season of parenting. There's different things, different challenges now that we're having to kind of work at. We're not in a baby or toddler stage anymore. We're nowhere near that. Obviously with Bunny getting older, she's like, the youngest. So I guess where she's at is the marker of us moving out of one stage, one season, and into another. So I wonder as well if maybe she's now in the juniors as well, and that was a little bit of a milestone for me. Like, she's not in the infants at school anymore, she's now in the juniors. So again, that all changes everything, because there's not the little cutesy stuff at school. It's a little bit more it's just different, isn't it? So yeah, I have noticed a different seasons in parenting, because otherwise we wouldn't have this podcast series. And like I've already mentioned, last year really was for me when I noticed the difference in parenting. I actually really love this bit that we're in at the minute. I've talked about this on social media as well, and I don't miss the baby days. I don't really miss the younger days. Obviously I look back on them fondly, and there's be like videos and pictures and stuff that I see of the girls, and I think, oh, you know, that was it was such a nice time, and I didn't not enjoy it when I was in it, but it was hard. And don't get me wrong, it's still hard now, but it's just a different type of hard. And I just find the bit we're at the minute now, I'm just finding it really lovely. For example, like at the weekend, we just got up, went out to the cinema, had a bite to eat for lunch in a place we like in town. And you know, I didn't have to worry about having a bag with stuff in. I didn't have to worry about nappies and where baby changing was. I didn't need to stress about someone suddenly shouting, "I need a wee," like seconds before they need a wee. I guess it's the girls are a lot more responsible for themselves now, and don't get me wrong, they're not completely responsible for themselves, but they are a lot more responsible. And so it just takes the pressure off me doing that a little bit more, and gives me a little bit of headspace, I guess, to think about other stuff. And I just find it so much less pressure when we're out and about, or even at home. There's not like the intensity of me not being able to do one thing because I've got to watch a child in one room, and just all those little things. So yeah, I really, really love the stage we're at the minute. Obviously we're on the brink of the teen years, so I don't know how that's gonna go, but we will see, and we'll get through it, because that's what you have to do, don't you? So I'm really enjoying life as it is at the minute. There are things that could be easier. I feel like I've got to constantly say, because I'm enjoying where we're at now and I'm finding it different, I feel people often mistake that for me saying it's easy or it's easier, and it's not at all. Some things are easier, but it isn't just easy or easier, if that makes sense. I don't know what I would change at the minute in terms of the seasons of parenting. There's things I would obviously change, like how the girls fight. Maybe that's part of this season, and the way their ages are, and they're kind of not at the younger stages, and where they'll sit and play together. We've got one heading into the teen years and one a bit younger, and they're having to navigate that too. So maybe that will be a negative of this season. Would you say it was a negative? A challenge? Yeah, prefer challenge. I don't know what else I would change about this season. I'm just really enjoying where we're at the minute. I would definitely say the season that I've found the hardest is, I don't know if I found one particular part. Well, obviously, if I'm saying I'm in my second season of parenting, I've only done one and I'm heading into my second. So I can't really say what season I found the hardest, but I feel like the last season was really hard for me. And I don't want to tempt fate there at all. I'm quite superstitious like that. But I've talked about this before as well. I love babies, don't get me wrong, but I'm not I don't want to say not a fan, but I don't get the whole thing of cuddling a newborn baby. Obviously my own, yes, but the whole newborn stage, I've always loved it when they start doing stuff and showing their personality. That's always what it's about for me. And I think I found it really hard when Bunny was, I found days really hard when Bunny was a baby, and trying to navigate the Wildcat was in her first year at school, and it was trying to navigate school runs around a sleeping, hungry baby. I found that really, really tricky. And then Bunny, as a toddler, she's very feisty, very fierce, very strong-minded, which the Wildcat was, but I didn't have anyone else to, I didn't have another child to manage at the same time. So when Bunny was like that, I also had the Wildcat, and it's trying to split that attention, which is really tough. I wish that I knew in my first season of parenting that I didn't have to be so uptight. That's probably the one thing I would go back and change, is to just let stuff go more and sit in the season more and just take it one day at a time, and that it was okay to be the parent that I wanted to be, and it didn't matter what other people said or did. I wish I'd have had more confidence in that respect, I think.